ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear Prabhujis, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, contents of the Gita summarized, chapter 2nd. And in our last session we read the 47th verse. Now we are reading the 48th verse. Another very beautiful verse. Lord Shri Krishna, he continues his instruction and he says to Arjunji, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजय सिद्धि असिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वम योग उच्यते. So yogastha, steadfast in yoga, kuru, perform, karmani, your duty, sangam, attachment, tyaktva, having abandoned, dhananjaya, o dhananjaya, siddhi asiddhayo, in success and failure, samaha, the same, bhutva, having become, samatvam, evenness of mind, yoga, uchyate, is called. So very beautiful verse. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, O Dhananjaya. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. So in the purport, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. So very beautiful verse. Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha, Lord Shri Krishna is asking Arjunji, be steadfast, O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, be steadfast in yoga. Kuru karmani, you perform your duty, you perform your prescribed duty in yoga. Sangam tyaktva, giving all attachment. In the previous verse also Lord Shri Krishna said that you have a right to perform your duty, but you are not entitled. Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur mate sango stava karmani. So sangam tyaktva, again Lord Shri Krishna is saying that giving up all attachment, positive or negative, as explained by Swami Srila Prabhupada in the previous purport. So, Lord Shri Krishna, he is advising Arjunji and he is advising all of us in that way that one should perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. That is yoga. Be steadfast in yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samobhutva. So again, as previously also Lord told, sukhe dukhe same kritva. Be equipoised. Saman. Be equipoised either in happiness or in distress. Loss or gain, victory or defeat. So one should be equipoised, and that's why Lord Shri Krishna, he is asking, perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success and failure. Such evenness of mind, yogaha, samo bhutva, same bhutva, having become samatvam yoga uchyate, samatvam, evenness of mind. So this evenness of mind is called yoga. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, he explained in the purport that yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. So the senses and the mind is also mana shashthani indriyani. Lord Shri Krishna will explain. So they are always demanding. They are demanding material enjoyment because the soul is conditioned. He is forgetful of his eternal identity. He is not situated in Krishna consciousness. And yoga means to get situated or get connected. Yoga means to concentrate the mind on the Supreme. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And yoga means to concentrate the mind on the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. So senses and mind, they are always disturbing, and they are demanding various material things. So one is acting in this material world for the satisfaction of mind, ever disturbing senses and the mind. Swami Srila Prabhupada write, ever disturbing. So the senses and the mind, they are always disturbing. But when one becomes equal, saman, when one becomes equal to both success and failure, when one's mind is samatvam yoga uchyate, when one's mind is not disturbed, or when one has completely abandoned or given up all considerations for success or failure or gain or loss, victory or defeat, then that state samatvam yoga uchyate, that state of mind. Because spiritual activities or yoga is done or performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord and is done on the spiritual platform. That's why Lord Shri Krishna, he asked Arjunji, Atmavan, get established in the self. So when one is situated on the spiritual platform, the self or the soul is above the material senses, material mind, material intelligence and material false ego. So when one is established in the self, then only one can serve the Supreme Self. When one is established when one knows, or when one act with that consciousness that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit. So on the spiritual platform, one can act on the spiritual platform, or one can act in yoga only when one's mind is equipoised. It is free from all considerations of victory, gain, happiness, defeat. Sukhe dukhe samay kritva. Samay, again Lord Shri Krishna is asking Arjun ji, Siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva. So either in victory or in defeat. And Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So yoga means concentrating the mind on the Supreme. And Supreme is Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Shri Vishnu. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya and Varnashrama institution. All the Varnas and all the Ashramas, they are actually meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Shri Vishnu, who is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. So in the Varnashrama Dharma, the four orders of social life and the four orders of spiritual life, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, Sannyas, they should not work for their personal satisfaction. Work is done or prescribed duties are ordained by the scriptures and are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shri Krishna. So if one does not satisfy, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, if one does not satisfy the Supreme Lord by his activities, then he is not following the Varnashrama institution correctly. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya and as such he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and it is the duty of every living entity, and that is one's constitutional position. In one's constitutional position, every living entity or part and parcel, they are working for the satisfaction of the whole. They are working for the satisfaction of whole. So it is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. So Swami Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, because we have a sense of proprietorship, all the living entities in this material world, though everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, material world, spiritual world, even the living entities, all matter, everything belongs to Supreme Lord. But because living entities, they are fallen in this material world because of material desire and they want to lord over the material nature. So all of us, we have lording over tendency or sense of proprietorship. We are forgetful of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. We are forgetful of our constitutional position as servants of the Supreme Lord. And we are in ignorance. In ignorance, we are thinking ourselves to be proprietor or master. And we are working for our own satisfaction on the material platform. The mind, body, the senses, they are ever disturbing. New material desires are generating, and we want to fulfill them for the satisfaction of our senses, for the satisfaction of our material mind, for the satisfaction of our material intellect and false ego. But one can act in yoga or only when the mind is even. One can act in yoga or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord only when one's mind is free or detached. Sangam tyaktva. That's why Lord Shri Krishna, he is asking Arjun ji, Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Give up all attachment to success or failure And Swami Srila Prabhupada, he writes, because Lord Shri Krishna is asking, Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Lord and work is done for the supreme satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That is the purpose of whole Varnashrama institution. So Arjunji has nothing to do. Swami Srila Prabhupada writes clearly in the purport, he has nothing to do with gain or loss or victory or defeat that are Krishna's concern. When Supreme Lord, he himself is present with Arjunji and he is asking to fight, so Arjunji should act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Only when one satisfies the Supreme Lord, then the work is completed in real sense. One satisfies everyone, one satisfies himself, one satisfies the soul, one satisfies everyone in this material world. If Supreme Lord is satisfied by one's actions, so actions or work is done for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That's why Lord Shri Krishna, he is asking Arjunji, Yogastha Kuru Karmani, do your work, execute your prescribed duties in yoga for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, free from abandon all sort of attachment. So not only to Arjunji, Lord Shri Krishna is asking everyone in this material world in one way, that work should be done for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord in yoga. And such work is very, very auspicious, as it leads to liberation, as it leads to salvation. So Yogastha Guru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya Siddhi Asadhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. And such evenness of mind is called yoga. Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord, and because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the result of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. So the following of Supreme Lord's dictation, that is real yoga, Karma yoga or real yoga, because unless one satisfies the Supreme Lord by his action, he is not correctly observing the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. So, and this is practiced in the process called, Swami Srila Prabhupada is saying, this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. When one act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, when one act with that consciousness, so this is performed, practice in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. So it is not easy. Everyone is conditioned, everyone is in ignorance. So one can come out of that conditioned state, one can be liberated only when one act in Krishna consciousness. If one act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one can gradually come out of ignorance and can be liberated. One can come out of the sense of proprietorship. Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, by Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. So this proprietorship, this lording over tendency, which we have acquired wrongly, which is not our eternal consciousness. So one can give up the sense of proprietorship only when one engages in work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, or when one act in Krishna consciousness. So one has to become a servant of Krishna. So the living entity, he is actually every living entity, as we saw in the previous purports also. In the 15th chapter, Mama Evamsha Jiva Loke, Jibhuta Sanatana. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme. And it is duty of part and parcel. It is duty of part and parcel to serve the Supreme. Swami Srila Prabhupada always takes the example, it is the duty of hand to serve the body, it is the duty of leg. All the bodily limbs are meant to serve the body. So one has to become, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, that is the goal of Krishna consciousness. One has to become, because every living entity, Mamay Vamsha Jiva, Mamay Va Amsha, every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mamay Vamsha Jiv Loke, Jiv Bhuta Sanatana, and we are eternal. The Supreme Lord is eternal, we are also eternal. And our eternal occupation is to serve the Supreme Lord, He is the Master. And that is the constitutional position of every living entity. And one has to go back in his constitutional position, free from the sense of proprietorship, free from lording over tendency. So one has to become servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is the goal. And that is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the right way if we serve the Supreme Lord or His servant, servant of the servant. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. So Lord Shri Krishna, He Himself was present with Arjunji in Dwapar Yuga, and the fight was for the principles, for the protection of religion, for the protection of principles of religion. So Lord Shri Krishna there He is advising or asking Arjunji to fight for his satisfaction. And in this age of Kali, Lord Krishna, He Himself incarnated as Lord Chaitanya, and He asked everyone to chant His holy name and execute various processes of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, by which we can actually, if we act for the satisfaction of Lord Chaitanya, or if we act in Krishna consciousness, because Lord Chaitanya, he is Krishna Himself, and chanting His holy name and propagating His holy name is Yuga Dharma, is the Dharma of this age. So if we act for the satisfaction of Lord Chaitanya, that is actually acting for in Krishna consciousness. And all the bona fide acharyas, all his representatives, all the representatives of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Shri Krishna, they also recommend to follow the orders of Lord Chaitanya. So to serve, one has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness. So if we also act for the satisfaction of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya by participating in the Sankirtan Yajna of the Supreme Lord, by chanting the holy name and executing other items of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting holy name, hearing holy name, hearing Krishna Katha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, then that is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. So in the Dwapar Yuga, Lord Shri Krishna, He is asking Arjunji to be steadfast in yoga. He should perform his duty. He is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution, being a Kshatriya, and it is his duty to fight. And because Lord Shri Krishna is asking him to fight, so he has nothing to do with victory and gain. And that's why victory or defeat, siddhi asiddhayo. That's why Lord Shri Krishna is asking Sangam Tyaktava, give up all attachment. Give up all attachment to success or failure. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Be steadfast in yoga. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. समत्वम योग उच्यते योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजया सिद्धिय सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वम योग उच्यते. So that this is very very beautiful verse, and Lord Shri Krishna is not only explaining to Arjun ji, but he is explaining all of us how work should be done. Work should be done for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Giving up abandoning all attachment to success and failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. So, yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo samo bhutva samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. So very very beautiful verse and very very beautiful purport, and many transcendental concepts, spiritual concepts, Krishna conscious concepts explained wonderfully by Swami Srila Prabhupada. So with this I would like to stop this session here, and in our next session we'll take up the next verse and we'll try to understand it. So Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajacharya Shtrotarashat Shri Srimati Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. All glories to His Divine Grace Krishna Kripa Murti Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Shri Krishna. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Holy Name. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya कृपा सिंधु चपतितनम पावनेभ्यो